Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video is going to be another Mystery Monday video, so with that being said, let's get right into it. Michael Dunahee was born on May 12, 1986 to his two parents, Crystal and Bruce Dunahee. At the time of Michael's disappearance, he was 4 years old and lived in Victoria, British Columbia with his two parents and his 6-month-old sister, Caitlin. On March 24, 1991, the Dunahee family loaded up into their car and headed out to Blanchard Park Elementary School to watch Crystal play a game of flagged football. Now, I'm not sure if all schools are set up like this all over the world, but I know in Canada, all schools that I know of are set up like this, at least where I live. But there is a paved play area, a paved parking area, a huge field for the kids to play in, and then there's a park off to the side that I believe the kids aren't allowed to play in during school hours, but it is open to the public at all times. While the family was getting out of the car, Michael, like any 4-year-old, began to ask Crystal if he could go and play at the park while she played football. Crystal said that she actually had a really bad gut feeling when Michael had asked her if he could go and play at the park, but she had just chalked this up to being nervous about the football game. And because Bruce would be standing on the sidelines and he was in direct eyeshot of the park, against Crystal's better judgment, she agreed and allowed Michael to go and play at the park while she played football. And before allowing Michael to go and play at the park, Crystal had actually told him to remain at the park and not to leave with anybody and to wait there until Bruce came to get him. In this particular case, I really don't blame the parents. I think that we've all been in a position when we were little where our parents maybe let us go and play a little bit too far. You know, they could see us, but we were still far away enough that something could happen and they could have missed it. I think we've all been in that position, especially at this time in Victoria. Nothing like this had ever happened before, so the parents really weren't thinking about this when they allowed their children to go and play outside or play at the park, because this was really unheard of at this time. Bruce was watching Michael happily play at the park when around 12:30 he looked away for just a second, and when he turned back to look at Michael, he couldn't see him anywhere. Bruce then walked over to the park, assuming that Michael was maybe behind the slide or somewhere out of eyeshot, but when he got there, he found that his son was completely gone. Michael was nowhere to be found. First off, Bruce assumed that Michael could have been hiding behind the slide or was somewhere around the park that was out of eyeshot from where he was standing. But when he got to the park, he realized that this was not the case and Michael was completely gone.
Up here and looked over at the park, didn't see him. I told Crystal I can't see Michael, so I'll go look for him.
He'd asked to go to a nearby playground while his mother played touch football. The playground was within sight of the field, within sight of his father and dozens of other adults. But Michael Dunahee simply disappeared.
The football game was stopped there, and everybody who was at the game assisted in helping look for Michael, and the police were called immediately. In cases like this where a child just seemingly vanishes while playing, the first assumption is usually that the child got distracted by something and wandered off. But in this case, because of the strange circumstances and how quickly Michael seemed to disappear, police considered this an abduction right off the bat. Right after Michael had gone missing, police started going door to door, showing people pictures of Michael and asking them if they had seen him. And all of the ferries running to and from Victoria Island were completely shut down. That's not to say that somebody couldn't have taken their own private boat with Michael off of the island, but police were really trying to cover all of their bases. Investigators had only really gotten one tip this far in the case, and that is that there was a man who was either in his late 40s or early 50s hanging around the playground at the time that Michael disappeared. And there was also a brown van parked near the playground at the time of Michael's disappearance that could possibly be related to the case. Police on the case also interviewed all of the sex offenders in the area, and they also asked anybody who was at the park that day or at the football game to return to the park and park their vehicles exactly how they had been on the day of Michael's disappearance for a reenactment. But unfortunately, nothing came of any of this.
Were you parked here?
Yeah.
For example, reconvening everyone who had a car in the school parking lot that Sunday
So that was at 12:15?
and running through it all again. Who was where? Was there a vehicle here then you don't see here now?
I don't remember exactly what it was. I know my view was blocked, so it would have been by something like a van or a truck with a canopy.
Over there, where the cop car is.
Right where the police car is?
Yeah, I think so. From what I remember.
Okay, and it's a brown van?
I don't know what color it was.
Just a van?
It was dark, a dark van.
That's the lead. So far, the only solid lead the police are talking about. A dark-colored van or camper or pickup truck parked around here.
Like I mentioned a little earlier on in this video, nothing like this had ever happened in Victoria before. In fact, their serious crime rate was very low. So for this 4-year-old boy to have just seemingly vanished really shook up Victoria. And in fact, this was one of the most widely investigated cases in all of Canada and America to this day. To this day, there are many reported sightings of people who believe that they had seen Michael, and there was even some people who believe that they are Michael Dunahee. But the first one that really struck people a lot was in 2006, when they had found a boy who resembled Michael living in the center of BC since the year of 1991. This boy resembling Michael got a lot of media coverage for this case because they thought that this could be the boy who went missing all those years ago. But unfortunately, DNA tests came back negative. This boy was not Michael Dunahee. In 2009, police found Michael's missing person poster in a home in Milwaukee. The home was lived in by a 62-year-old man named Vernon Sheets, and I am probably not saying that correctly, so I'm going to put his name right here. This man confessed to his psychiatrist that in 1959, at the age of 12, he had murdered a child, and he had also said that he had known about the murder of another small child. Shortly after confessing this to his psychiatrist, this man was found dead in his home, apparently from natural causes. But because Michael's missing person poster was found in this man's home and he had confessed to killing a child, it is widely speculated that this man might have had something to do with the disappearance of Michael Dunahee. In 2011, there was another man in BC who believed that he was Michael Dunahee, and he had come forward and got a DNA test, but again, it came back negative. And more recently, in 2013, another BC man got his DNA tested because police thought that he could have possibly been Michael, but again, the test came back negative. This case remains open to this day, with investigators and Michael's family hoping that some information will come forward very soon with information on what exactly happened to 4-year-old Michael Dunahee that day at the playground.
Go out for a walk, and sometimes I find myself looking back to hurry up, Michael, but you know he's not there. Or if I'm out at baseball or whatever, and you see all the kids playing, well, Michael would be over there playing too. It's hard. Because there's so much in our life that we still do that Michael would be involved in.
Everybody else's lives might go on, but ours aren't. We're not going to stop until we find them.
Jumping on the bed.
This is how you do boogie.
Get off the bed.
This is how you do boogie, Mom.
Crystal Dunahee is now an advocate for missing children issues in British Columbia. And she was also the president of Child Find British Columbia at one point. And Caitlin Dunahee, who was only 6 months old when her brother went missing, holds a charity event in British Columbia every year called Michael Dunahee Keep the Hope Alive, and this raises money for missing children. If you have any information on what happened to Michael Dunahee, I will leave all of the correct information below so that you can contact somebody and help close this case. And guys, that brings us to the end of this video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to comment down below what you'd like to see in my future videos or what you think happened to Michael. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and go check out the other videos on my channel, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!